Have you ever looked at an artwork with the very few colors or details and thought, I wonder if I could make something like that myself? At a simple first glance, some artworks can seem surprisingly simple. However, once you discover the history and purpose behind these paintings, you begin to realize that there is a more complex story and a deeper meaning behind these artworks. Hi, my name is Grace Song, and today I will be exploring the Korean monochrome art movement called Dansaekhwa. Dansaekhwa is a Korean contemporary art that utilizes simple and minimal colors such as white and black to emphasize the process of creating art rather than the use of colorful materials. It originally began around in the mid-1970s and is continuing to advance in modern-day society. While researching, I was also wondering the same thing of why Dansaekhwa artists chose to limit themselves by solely using mundane colors despite the availability of other colorful resources. However, I soon realized that the monochromatic technique is not a limitation. Instead, it is the artist's intended method of highlighting the creative aspect of Dansaekhwa that allows the formation of illusions and open interpretations. Now, before taking a closer look at the role of Dansaekhwa monochrome movement in Korean history and society, it is important to understand the historical events that shaped the years leading up to the start of the movement. During the late 1800s, Japan was one of the most powerful imperialistic nations in Northeast Asia. Despite Korea's continuous attempts to resist Japan's imperialistic desires, the Korean Empire eventually got annexed by the Japanese in 1910. From 1919 to 1945, the Korean independence movement persisted in order to escape the cultural suppression and societal restrictions imposed by the Japanese colonial rule. Finally, in 1945, Japan's surrender in World War II led to the liberation of Korea as an independent nation. Despite liberation, Korea soon experienced a political divide between the North and the South. The Korean War from 1950 to 1953 ended in a truce dividing North and South Korea at the 38th parallel. After the major cultural transformation caused by the wars, South Korea underwent rapid post-war industrialization and modernization. Keeping this historical context in mind, let's now move on to the visual analysis of the Dansaekhwa artworks. Other art movements commonly include figures, words, and other literal representations to demonstrate the subject matter. On the other hand, the minimalistic concept of Dansaekhwa is expressed through its simple mediums, repetitive brushstrokes, and continuous layers that demonstrate Korean traditional values. This painting, Conjunction 79-31 by Chung Hyun-ha in 1979, draws the viewer's attention to its texture rather than the use of extravagant colors and direct representations. Prior to painting, he stretched out a hem cloth to widen the hole so that the paint can form droplet-like shapes when seeping through the cloth. This labor-intensive process of manipulating the medium and paint is what allowed the showcase of depth and three-dimensionality in his artwork. There are two vertical lines of division that separates the painting into three different sections. Each section contains a unique pattern of overlapping lines, the diagonal marks creating a sense of dynamism and action. Next is Ekriture 46-73 by Subbo Park in 1973, where Park utilizes repetitive pencil strokes on top of a wet oil paint. The tip of the pencil pushes the white paint out of its way, creating a tactile texture. Park stated that the repetition in his artwork leads to a state of standing out of oneself, which is the meditative state of calm and quiet emotions. Lastly, Untitled 84-3-8 by Chung Sang-hwa in 1984 demonstrates a brick wall and grid-like pattern of white squares. Again, instead of using strong colors or recognizable imagery, elements of art such as line, shape, value, white monochromatic color, and tactile texture are used to convey the message without the presence of conventional visuals. The works of Ha, Park, and Hwa collectively demonstrate how extravagant colors and direct representations are not always necessary in delivering a powerful theme. Now, using a multiculturalistic approach as a methodology, the previous discussion of Japanese colonial rule, the Korean War, and the rapid post-war modernization exemplify how history shapes expressions in art. The psychological trauma and cultural changes due to post-colonial rule were especially evident in the artist's frequent use of repetition, monochrome color, and texture. Dansaekhwa's healing and inspiring role in promoting nationalism and interconnectivity was also shown, an attempt by Koreans to rebuild their cultural identity because Japanese colonial rule had stripped away the traditions of the past. In addition, Western abstract art, American minimalism, and Japanese mono-ha are global influences that were used as inspirations by Korean artists to adapt their culture to popular international art movements. Lastly, the dictatorship of Park Chung-hee, who was the president of South Korea in the 1960s, created socio-political tensions that further prompted artists to redefine traditional norms. The political control and rapid social changes of the president's dictatorship motivated many artists to find new forms of expression by moving beyond traditional two-dimensional art to exploring three-dimensional art. In short, Dansaekhwa shows that simple artworks can reflect complex historical and cultural identities. By analyzing the movement through multiculturalism, we can see how Korean artists responded to colonialism, modernization, and global influences while creating a new vision of Korean identity. Therefore, Dansaekhwa reveals how colonial history and rapid industrialization in society contributed to the development of the art movement. Thank you.